I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands.
Everybody listen, stop right now. We're okay. Before we even start this, I need to make a few disclaimers. We're adjusting to the times, people. We had to go back. It's almost like pilgrim times all over again. We're figuring out how to podcast in the wake of Corona. So just bear with us. You can probably, Rosebud, I didn't tell you this. My last show that I was at was in Edmonton, and my tour manager, who is one of my best friends in real life, got stranded with me. He lives in Chicago, and it's just
shit.
Yeah, doesn't want to be around his roommates and shit because they probably have Corona. So we're just in
Edmonton.
here.
Edmonton is in. I know I've been there. It's Canada, right?
Alberta, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's just been in our guest bedroom. We're just staying safe.
Oh my God! So you literally have a human being as a pet.
We do have a human being as a pet. Yes,
that is Jeff. Just staying. Yeah, you're we'll reintroduce him once he's adjusted.
Right.
Like a cat.
He's our Jeff. He's great. He's actually doing a lot of cooking, so I'm not mad. He's
not bad.
He's pitching in. Everyone, this is Rosebud Baker, comedian. I know, see? That's the thing with podcasting. We never know we're cutting each other off. Rosebud Baker, comedian, hilarious. Just did a hilarious Comedy Central. What'd you do, a half hour? You did a full half hour?
No, it was The Ringers. It was a short set for Bill Burr.
Okay.
And yeah. So that was, I guess it was it came out recently.
I'd only watched it online, so I thought that they only showed part of your set. But that was it. That was the full 7.
No. Oh, yeah. That was the full set. It was 7 minutes. It was 7-minute sets. We shot them last May. Or last April. Yeah, and it came out in January.
So what's the process with that?
I mean, you shoot this show and then a year later you're yeah, I remember that. I mean, I don't feel, it's so funny because with comedy it moves so quick. So you're the second that the set comes out, you're I've outgrown that set. I don't connect to those jokes anymore. And people are I loved your set. And you're that's not who I am. You know what I mean?
I resonate with that.
Because you've grown as a person. But, and it was funny because it was my first TV set, my first ever TV stand-up set. And I'm not a late night comic. I don't really do late night friendly material. So that was my late night set. And it was all for Bill Burr, and it was I could say whatever I wanted, and I was so happy. And the night that it came out, I was on my way to go watch it at the Comedy Store with my now fiance, and we got pulled over by this cop, and we were in a car that we borrowed from his friend, and right before we borrowed the car, the plates got stolen.
Oh my God.
But this car belonged to a black family, so they didn't report the plates as stolen because they were afraid that they'd get pulled over. You know what I mean?
You got it.
And get mistaken as the people who stole the plate. So it was anyways, it ended up actually happening that we got pulled over and got mistaken as the people who stole the plates. And
2020, they played the Uno reverse card on your ass. You white people, you got this car, piece of shit.
Yes. So we're on the way to go watch my set, and we get pulled over and full on arrested. We are cuffed, thrown in the back of a cop car, and my boyfriend or fiance is so white. He was this is absolutely absurd. He was we could sue, and I'm we don't have a lawyer. We don't have anything. Okay. So we're he's we're on our way to go watch her do her first TV show at the Comedy Store. And I was this is come on, we could not be more white. I mean, I was really upset because they knocked our vapes out of our hands as we were being cuffed. So I was my vape is ruined. I can't vape when I get out of this situation. But yeah, so I ended up missing it because I was in the back of a cop car, not getting fingered, which seems like a wasted opportunity. But he was cuffed. So it's fair.
Okay, I love
you
that you
know?
guys can like do that together. Like you can say like, "Hey, remember like right before we got engaged and we were arrested together." So were you like booked? Like what's the rest?
No, we were like put in the back of this car and I was like, "Oh my God." It like occurred to me while we were in the back of the car that the plates were stolen. I remembered and I was like, "Holy shit, it's the other car." I was like, "It's a guy that stole the fucking plates that they're pulling us." I was like, "What were those plates used for?" And apparently they were like, it was like a bunch of felonies. So they thought that they'd gotten the people that had like committed all these felonies, especially because I think the felonies were committed in New York and we both had New York IDs.
So it was you,
So
is what you're telling me.
so it was what I'm saying is, look, it might look like we robbed a bank, but we didn't rob any banks.
You seem to have bad luck with the vehicles because you have once had a very misfortunate situation with golf carts.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, "Wait, what happened?" Yeah, my sister and I
I'm
I'm
so
like a
sorry to
terrible driver. So
I
if
brought
I'm
this
behind the
up.
wheel,
I brought this up like and it's probably like so dated, but this shit has me fucking rolling, Rosebud.
it was so bad. It was like my sister and I, we were at our dad's like second home, not to brag, but brag. My dad makes money. Uh I don't anymore, but we were home for Christmas. My dad was drunk, my sister and I were sober. We wanted to raise a ruckus and we took these two golf carts out and we ended up flipping both golf carts and then trying to tow them out of the water with our stepmom's SUV. And we ended up crashing the SUV into the water as well. So that was three vehicles that we crashed in one night, both of us sober. Have not lived it down to this day.
Do they
We
bring
are
that up at
still,
all the family things?
yeah, and it's so fucked up because it's like, yeah, we did this, but you guys are all active alcoholics, okay? Like, true, we acted as if we were drunk. And yes, that is only a mistake that two very drunk people would make. And we did make it sober. But all of you are emotionally the equivalent of two golf carts and an SUV in the river, okay? That's where you guys are at. Like that's your communication skills. All right. So yeah, we fucked up, but we've had therapy.
Do you know what I love
That's all
about
we can say
comedy?
is like we've worked on ourselves.
I love that as comics we like say this shit and it's like, okay, if this is not your truth, then correct me. But I often like think things about my family and then I like write it and I'm like, yeah, fuck you. And then I say it on stage and then like I'm like, oh, this is a really good bit. And I can't just drop it out of my set and all my fucking family's here. And then I say it and afterward they're like, did we actually piss you off that one time? I'm like, yes, but thank you because now I have this golden material and I will milk it for all that it's worth. So
Yes.
thank you so much.
Yes. Yeah. Every single thing that my family, every time I get pissed at my dad, or anytime I'm mad at my mom, or I like am pissed with my sisters or talking shit about the other ones, I'm like, everything that they've done to me has like been gold. It's like truly the stuff of like, I'm like, that is the stuff that I need to be funny. You guys have made me funny, you know?
You have a really good skill too that I don't have. You like bring up some super crazy, insanely dark shit. And when I saw your show in the festival, Rosebud, I was fucking crying. Like I knew a lot of your jokes from online. I had seen a couple of your sets, and I saw like when they did the Amazon special, like they took your jokes and kind of like took them out of context so they didn't like ruin your sets, which I thought was really cool. But then when I saw it for real, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm like crying, laughing over some shit that I would normally be like sobbing about for weeks. How the fuck do you like? What is your process even like for that? Do you just like find something and like think something? You're like, that's funny, and then you write it?
No, I usually think about like a subject that I have a hard time making funny. And then I'll be like, that's the thing that I want to write about. So I'll like try to find what's funny in that, like, even if it's just like adjacent to that subject. But it usually ends up like being, I have to say what happened in order to set it up. So people are like, oh, it's such dark material. And I'm like, yeah, I guess, but it's really not, like, I don't think of it as dark, because I'm
Agreed.
like, it would be dark if it ended up like controlling my life and I was like, not able to like laugh at what's happened or whatever. But I kind of look at it as like, if this is what I was given and I made something funny out of it, then that's like a really hopeful, I think, like positive thing, but people look at it and they go, oh, it's so dark. And I'm like, I don't see it that way at all. Like, I don't see it as like, I guess, yes, the subject matter is, but I don't know. I think there's something funny about every single thing that happens to us. And I think the darker the shit is, the funnier it can be if you've processed it and you're like, obviously a lot of this shit takes time. So
We're just
yeah.
talking about like life experiences too, and we're just like going off of what has actually happened to us, and like these are my thoughts, people, and if they happen to be funny, congratulations. Like now I'm just going to tell you about it.
Right.
So I'm an avid listener to Heather McMahon's podcast, and I
I
remember,
love her.
oh God, I'm obsessed. I haven't met her yet,
Yeah.
but I am
You
obsessed.
haven't? Oh
I
my
have
God, you
not.
guys would love each other. You
You
would
know,
love each other.
okay, it's crazy because I know that, but I feel
Yeah.
okay. Do you know how it is when you like really are super like crazy into another comic, and then like one day you meet and you're like, I know we're gonna vibe. I know
Yeah.
you don't know it. I know it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's how I feel. Right. Right. Like that's how I feel about hers. And when I listen to your podcast with her, you and her both have this experience of, are you locked out? I locked my Jeff out. Let me go let him in.
Okay, let him in.
Girl, I'm from Detroit. I'm always locking the doors. Okay.
I'm from Detroit. I'm always locking the doors.
I'm always locking the
I
doors.
love
I'm
that.
no dummy. That's a huge part of my set too, is people are like, wait, but you're white, gay, and skinny. And I'm like, and I'll cut you. So back the fuck up.
Yeah, I contain multitudes, bitch.
Right? Well, okay. One of
Yeah,
my favorite things. It's so fucking weird not being on a stage. So weird. I'm having the hardest
yeah.
time with it. But one of my favorite jokes that I say is, I'm like, I'll cut you. No, I don't know how, but I do know how to disassemble your car and sell the parts for drug money. So that's a cute little skill that I have. So, I mean, but you
I
and
love
Heather,
that.
you and Heather talked about you both had very close people in your family who had passed away, and the way you guys both talk about it and make it like real in reality. You both said you're like, when somebody dies, all you can do is say, fuck it, this happens, that sucks, and just like process it. I had heard that podcast before I saw your set and you were talking about your sister, and I was like, that is what she's doing. She's literally just saying her thoughts out loud, and they happen to be funny.
Yeah, yeah. It's like that's what it is. I mean, you got to kind of go back to that experience to like bring that stuff up, but you're not really going back to it to like mine for sadness. I mean, sometimes that comes up. Generally, it doesn't when I'm searching for jokes, because I'm like, well, what was funny? And then sometimes it is like I'll think about like something that's really sad, and then I'll go, wait a second, that thing that I thought was really sad is actually really funny. Like if I look at it from the outside. So you kind of are like, you're kind of in it, but you're also like outside of it. The way that all comics are, like it's like we're all going through this like COVID shit, right? And there are literally bodies being put in trucks in New York. Like it's a nightmare. But every comic is watching this almost as if they're not in it. And so people go, how can you be so insensitive? And it's like, because we are, because we're trying to look at the funny parts. Like, and it's like, forgive us if it's too soon, or, that's just how we're programmed. We're like, we're not well.
No, we're not well. It takes a very specific it takes a very specific person to be this fucking psychotic, and that's us.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. When I meet a comic who's healthy, I'm like, what the fuck are you hiding?
Yeah, what's
You know
wrong with
what I mean?
you?
Yeah. I'm like, what is going on, dude? Like I'm almost like, well, then what are you doing this for? Like, why would you come here? Like, why are you don't belong here? It's like if I was in a bad neighborhood and I saw someone like walking down the street, like putting up posters for their concert, you know, I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, you're going to get killed. Like, that's how I feel.
Exactly. That's exactly how it is too. Like, I feel like when I'm on stage, like I've had a couple people try to like criticize my hour, and they're like, "Oh, you're like really gay on stage," and I'm like, "Oh, no, honey, I'm myself on stage." Because here's the thing,
Yeah.
my entire life I've been living this world where I'm trying to just like navigate, and I don't know who's gonna hurt me and who's gonna protect me. But when it's my stage and it's my time, I'm gonna do my thing because I'm owning it. And if you want to talk back to me, I'm gonna talk back to you on this mic. Oh fuck, Detroit's really coming out right now.
I love it. I really loved it. I mean,
Oh,
I was like, oh, he's getting ready. He's like, he's got fucking firepower, you
who
know?
am I? Like,
I
what
loved
the?
it. I loved it. You just became yourself on stage, actually. It's so funny. I was watching, I think it was like one episode, maybe it was Comedians in Cars with Chappelle and Seinfeld. And I'm going to butcher the quote, so I
Oh,
won't even try to like recreate it. But I know that to paraphrase it, Chappelle was saying like that who we are in life is more of the lie. And then the guy on stage is the truth, because it's like this guy is lying so that that guy can exist, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like the guy being on stage. And I loved that, because I was like, when I get on stage, people are like, you're a bully, you're mean, you're so powerful, your voice is so powerful and like kind of like bullyish. And I laugh at that, because I go, that's all the shit that my family tried to program out of me. That's all the shit that my family was like, you know, you're a bully, you're mean to people, you say things that are hurtful. And I'm like, yeah, but everything that I say that's hurtful, in quotes, is funny. Like I'm like, that's how I'm funny. So I just learned to put that in on stage, you know? And I love that that's how people are responding to it, because I'm like, I'm making money from the shit that my family tried to get rid of,
dude.
you
Honestly,
know?
I am
It makes
vibing
me
with
like
you so
so
hard.
happy.
Yes, I'm literally vibing with that so hard because okay, I have this Rosebud. You're gonna fucking love this. So like my whole thing too is I don't care what other comics say. I'm gonna do me and I'm gonna do it. So the beginning of my set, a lot of people have been like, oh, it's hacky, it's blah blah blah. But my whole thing is no, it's me. So I walk out on stage and I walk out in 6-inch stone encrusted stiletto heels, and
Yes.
I do a little strip tease with my legs, and I split it, dip it low, pick it up slow, roll it around, poke it out like your back broke. Like that's what I do. Okay. And
Yes.
and then I sit down and I'm taking the heels off. And the very first thing I say is, these heels are a little bit of a controversy in my family, and that always got a laugh. And then
Yes.
my dad in real life, my dad was like, you got to take it out. That's not you. Like, you can't do it, whatever. I'm like, okay, okay. Because, you know, as comics, we just sit and listen and we write. We sit and listen, write. So the next
Right.
time I did the show and he was in the audience, I said, you guys, the intro is a little bit of a controversy in my family, but how thankful of my dad to let me borrow his shoes. And then and then I'm just like, that's where,
Yes.
right? Like that's where, like, I love my dad. He's coming from a good place, but like I'm me. So
I
you
love
can
it.
all have it, you
I
know?
love it. That is so amazing. I remember it reminded me one time of like I used to perform when I was coming up at this club called LOL. And when I say club, what I mean is it's a room in Times Square. They shuffle these tourists into a room, right? And they tell them that Chris Rock is performing, and they tell them that like they're gonna see fucking. They'll tell people they're gonna see a dead comic. I mean, they really will tell them anything, and these people will just be like, okay, and they walk upstairs, and then they're charged $8 for like a tap water, right? And then they're expecting Chris Rock, because they're like, they've never been to New York and they don't know that it's a city for scam artists, right?
Yeah.
And then I walk out on stage and they're like, and you just, the later you go up, the more it's settled into these people's minds that they've been duped, right? And I used to go up there every single night coming up, like 3-4 times a night. I remember some comics like are so bad that they can't get booked anywhere else in the city. So they just do that club over and
Oh
over again. And they do
shit.
the same set 15 years over and over and over. There was this one host who every time he brought me up, he would make this speech about how some clubs in New York won't put up women comics, right? And I was like, this is so unnecessary and also like not even true. Like I was like,
You're like, I'm at
what
the
is
stand and I'm at the cellar as well. Do you know
I
me?
was like, well, at this point, I was nowhere near any of those
Oh,
places. I was literally like, I was performing in a broom closet. And, but he would give this speech and he's like, but not this club. We're not afraid of putting up women comics. And I started getting so resentful of this whole fucking speech. So one night I got up afterwards. This is older, much older, like 60s. I got so resentful that I walked up on stage and I was like, hey, yeah, thanks so much. And, it's also pretty brave, to for them to put up an older gay black male comic, you know, and he's not gay, and I just knew that like calling him gay in his like antiquated mind would
yes.
freak him the fuck out. So it just like fully caused this like massive fucking problem in the green room, and I like wasn't put up as much and I lost spots over it, and I was like, this is insane. But it's like you use whatever is given to you and you kind of like turn it into a fucking joke. And it got a
Yeah.
huge laugh because he was clearly not gay. I mean, he'd done all these jokes about like eating pussy, even though it had been, I'm sure he's the kind of guy that like won't eat pussy because he thinks it's homosexual. But anyway, it's fun when you're able to turn this, you're
Hate
able
you.
to turn this shit around, you know? And it's like for people to come at us with what they think, when people come at us with like, I know better energy, a comic is always gonna fucking like rebel, you know?
Oh, that's what I tell people all the time. Like people try to like come for me and I'm like, here's the thing, you don't want to know what I'm thinking. I'm so
No.
sorry. Like I would hate to like break your little spirit. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to and not in a mean way because that's my thing online is I don't come back unless I
Yeah.
can make the comeback funny to
Right.
strangers. To comics, I'll
Right.
just like, say it. But to strangers, because strangers will take your shit like you're just like some methodical fucking Jeffrey Dahmer person.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But like if I can make this funny, I'll say it to you. And then I say it and I'm just like, who's on top? Thank you so
Right.
much.
Are you do you like internet fights? Because I love them.
I'm obsessed, I think is the word.
It's like one of my passions.
So who are you into right now? Because I'm into a few as well.
Well, no. I'm not talking about people that I'm not fighting with. I'm talking
Oh,
about people I can start fights with.
oh, damn, girl, lay the tea out
Because
on
I
me.
can't
Can we
I
just like
can't
be in person? I don't care if I get COVID from you and Andy. Can we just like hang?
Can we all just cough into each other's hands?
Okay, I am after this. I am gonna tell you a real story that like 10 minutes ago I was like, shit, should I tell her? I'm gonna tell you, but like lay it out.
No,
I need
tell it to me now. Tell it to me
right
now.
now. Okay,
Yes, I want it.
there was another Rosebud. All right,
Yeah.
there was another comic, and we were at Hollywood Improv, and it was my first night performing there ever, and I was really fucking nervous. I mean, you know, I
Yeah.
come I come from a city that's not a comic city, and like holy fucking shit. So like I went and I did my act, and I did okay. I didn't bomb. I did okay. But I told
Yeah.
myself going in, I was like, you don't know these people, blah, 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 blah. Just do all your teacher shit because there's bound to be some teachers in the audience. And if they're not, they went to school, so they'll get it. And I thought, like, well, that's probably your most relatable stuff. So I did it and it did okay. It didn't kill, it didn't bomb. This
Right.
comic goes up after me and they were like, oh, that's why we don't allow gay teachers because all the gay teachers, you're something like your kids would walk out wearing dresses. Your kids would come home wearing dresses and have weaves made out of cardboard paper and all this shit. And the audience was like cracking up. And I was like, okay, all right, I got your number. So then they came up to me after and they were like, oh my God, you're so wholesome. I've been waiting for this voice in the club, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you're really lucky that I like to read a bitch. And they're like, what do you mean? I go, oh, I can take it. If I was going on after, we could have had it done. But I was like, but I'm not. And I can take it. So
Yeah.
we got this down, right? And they're like, what are you talking about? Blah, blah. I'm like, please God, don't act like this didn't happen. I was
Yeah, no.
here. They
That's
were all
so
here.
LA. That is so fucking LA. Like that
What
kind of
the
fucking
fuck?
steal your wallet, help you look for it attitude is like LA people are maniacal. Like they have blood on their hands. You know what I mean? And they'll be like, "No, you're so pretty." And they're just like they're covering you in blood. They're insane. They're insane people. You
Insane
cannot
is the
trust
right
them.
word. I literally walked away and I was like, are they fucking out of their mind? Like you
Fucking
saw.
city will gaslight you. It's crazy. It's so funny because in New York, if somebody talks shit to me afterwards, I'll be like, hey, fucko, don't do that shit, you know? And they'll be like, I'm sorry. I was just trying to bust your balls. It didn't go that well. I'm sorry. In LA, they'll be like, that didn't happen. And you're like,
Exactly.
am I fucking insane? You just lose it. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm like, I can deal with somebody talking shit to me if we can both acknowledge that it happened.
Who are you trying to start shit with though?
I mostly start shit with people who
Is that what we're gonna
have
call them?
like
People
here's the
who?
thing. When it comes to the industry, I'm a fucking coward. Okay.
Hmm.
If it's somebody that could possibly get me a job one day, I will take it in my ass for them. I don't give a shit. I'm like, I don't want to fucking fuck anything up that could happen for me in the future. I will just like I'll swallow this unless I know for sure that they are bound to just self-destruct and nothing's ever going to go anywhere for them. Then I'll go in. But when it comes to people who are just in the comments, just like saying shit or some like meme account that steals a friend's joke, like I'll dedicate like 6 hours out of my day to it. It's a mental illness. I There was this girl, what's her name? The hand job. It's like the handy.
I watched this whole saga with you.
Yeah.
I watched this whole thing with you. I watched it go, and I need it because I don't know where this started. I do
Yeah.
remember it playing out, and I'm kind of in on it, but not fully. So hit me.
So I was sleeping over at my friend Blair's house, right?
Love
And
Blair. I don't know her.
she's so
Also,
funny.
yeah.
She's so funny. She's like such an original voice and so like I'm just like I can't even understand how she doesn't have like I think she should be like touring globally. Like I think she's so fucking funny. I woke up one morning on her couch and she was like, this fucking bitch just stole my joke. And I was like, who? And she's like, the Handy J or somebody online who's like obviously one of these like meme, what do they call themselves? Like connoisseurs. They call themselves something better than they are. They're like a content it's like appropriator anyway, whatever.
But it's like a fat Jewish or almost a girl
Exactly.
with no job, like that type of
Yes,
thing.
that
Yeah.
kind of fucking bullshit. So she takes Blair's joke, posts it. Blair was like, hey, this is my joke. If you're gonna post it, just give me credit. And this bitch was like, why should I give you credit? Nobody gives a shit that you wrote the joke. And I was like, oh, we're going in. And I literally, Blair said she turned around. I went from being asleep, she turned around and I was hunched over in business mode, just like furiously typing, right? And I went back and forth with this bitch to the point where she went crazy. She started reposting my stories that I had tagged her in,
I remember.
where I was just roasting her, just like I was going into my notes and finding jokes that I'd written for Roast Battle and literally copy and pasting her name into them, just like with real jokes that I'd written, right? And she had nothing to come back with, like nothing. I was like, I have heavy artillery, okay? Heavy artillery. And you are literally the Viet Cong in this situation, okay? You can't fight me unless you take my weapons. Like, because you don't have anything. She was obviously less successful than the Viet Cong because I won that fight.
Totally did.
She like changed her shit to private by the end of the day. And and it's like, for some reason, I like when I fight for myself, it's like it doesn't work. I end up getting a call from Alex, our manager, in the middle of the day being like, okay, it looks like you have way too much time on your hands. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll stop. But if it's for a friend, if it's for a friend, I can just go. I can just like, because it's like a more noble cause for some reason. But I really do. I love to hit a an innocent civilian who was trying to like tag my joke or tell me that my joke was stolen. Like that's the thing that they do now is they'll
Oh,
be like, instead of saying like women aren't funny, they'll be like, you stole this joke, which is like the worst thing you can say to any comic who cares about originality.
yeah.
It's like you know that you've like hit them in a place that is really going to get to them, because it's like that's the thing that I'm going to try to defend no matter what.
Ever.
And I'll just like, I remember some fucking door guy at the Comedy Store told me that a joke that I'd written had been stolen from Robin Williams. I was like, how do you even steal Robin Williams without doing Robin Williams, first of all? Second of all, if I stole it from Robin Williams, he would be proud of me because he was the biggest fucking joke thief ever. People wouldn't even fucking perform at the Comedy Store if he was in the room. All right? Read your fucking history if he's your fucking favorite comic. He was the original joke thief. And then I was like, and then I looked into the jokes that he was talking about, and I was like, I see where the similarities were. And I'm like, okay, I see how he thought that I'd stolen this joke because it was clearly parallel thought. But I'm also like, the joke was already out on Comedy Central. So I was like, I can't take this joke back. I can just not do it anymore, which is
Right.
what I do. But I'm like, that kind of shit drives me insane. I'm like, I care about being original in my comedy. And when you're doing observational comedy, which is what this joke was, there's only so many fucking takes,
Yep.
like you're going to find something if you look hard enough where somebody else had an idea that was similar and the
So
setup was similar.
this literally happened to me today. I like with quarantine and all that, I've been resorting to, as everyone has with podcasts and digital content, and just kind of like seeing what comes out of that. So I'm trying to like, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna
You're
say
like,
this.
okay.
Let me let it out. I've been like fucking around with TikTok, and people like hate on it. It's actually pretty fucking cool. It's kind of funny, and like people like do good shit, but it's a whole lot of like, here's the joke and here's how you recreate it. Okay, fucking 30 have no idea how this shit works. I'm just like zooming in with some 14-year-olds trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So I
Yeah.
pick up the fact that they do these like lip syncs, and I'm like, if I'm a gay man, bitch, I can fucking lip sync the house down. So I hear this one and it inspired me, and I was like, oh, this sounds like somebody who in regular conversation sings really, really well, but they only do it so everybody in the room knows that they can sing really well. So I kind of
Right.
like lip synced it with that like angle. And I
Yeah.
woke up this morning and it had 600,000 views and comments. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck happened? So I go in there and I read the comments, and people are like, you stole this from this person. You you stole. And I'm like, what the fuck? Who are they talking about? Apparently, this is an old Vine from like so long ago, and I did it exactly the same. And I deleted it because I was like, hey, you know what? I don't
Yeah.
want to get into it with these fucking kids. But
Yeah.
second of all, that's how a lot of people do find themselves in quote unquote joke thief situations. Like there's some super obvious cases where they did steal the joke from a person. But I
Yeah.
was like, dude, I just literally vibed with this thought the same way.
It's like there is such a thing as parallel thought, and I look at it and I go, okay, all this was I should have taken more time to find a different angle,
Yep.
right? But this was for a show that Comedy Central was taping that I had 3 days to write a new joke and then put it on TV. And it's like, you're going to have some fucking parallel thought when you do a joke like that. Like, I could try to do it differently, you know, but it's just, it's so tricky. With comics, it's like all we give a shit about is being original. And if we find ourselves, a real comic will find themselves in that situation and be like, okay, you'll delete it, or like, I won't do the joke anymore, you know, since it's already out there. But that's all you can do, you know. And I remember I wrote to that dude, that Comedy Store dude, and I don't know who he is. And I was like, we're both comics. I was like, if you're going to say some shit like that, if you're going to make a claim like that, you should DM me and be like, hey, because you know that would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, DM me, just be like, hey, heads up, here's a joke that's similar to that. My first question was, which joke is it? And he was like, oh, I don't really know. And I was like, you're going to tell me that I stole a joke that you can't remember? What the fuck? You know, I was like, that's a huge accusation. You can't do that. You know, you got to like have some fucking, I mean, we have our own decorum with shit like that, where we'll like let each other know, like, hey, just so you know, I'm not trying to say anything. Just want you to know that this is similar to that. Like, we all know that it's like telling somebody that they fucking fucked up on a major level, you know?
And the fact that he like quoted Robin Williams and then also worked at the store.
Yeah.
It was just gonna let
I'm
that
like, you
slide.
should know I'm like, you should know the history of Robin Williams. If he's your favorite comic, you should know, which is like, everyone knows that nobody would fucking perform in the same room as Robin Williams. No one.
Right.
There's like a whole fucking chapter in it in I'm Dying Up Here, which is like, which was a book before it was a show. And if you are a huge comedy nerd, you can read the book. But other than that, it's not that interesting.
Rosebud,
Yeah.
I before I let you go, I told you this earlier this week because we went live together. One of your biggest fans is my mom.
Yes.
She is
Tell
obsessed
me
with.
we got her.
We have her.
Yes.
We have her. She, first of all, she is obsessed with you. She saw you on The Ringers, one of her biggest comedians who she loves. She loves two. She loves Sebastian Maniscalco and Bill Burr. And she always says to me, she says, okay, fuck. You've met Judy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my mom said, she goes, I won't think you're shit until you're playing the same places as Burr and Maniscalco. So I told that to Judy, and Judy goes, well, you tell your mom that you already are, because they were there once too. And I was like, yes, bitch! But my mom's obsessed with you. She loves you. And I thought we'd give her a little surprise phone call and see, see what she was saying.
Yes, I love it.
Okay.
I'm wondering how we're going to do this.
Well, I'm going to call her and put her on speaker.
Okay.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, we are in the fucking Matrix. Welcome to the future, everybody. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, Mom.
Hi, honey.
How are you?
I'm sleepy. How are you?
Oh, it's what, like 9 o'clock there?
Yeah, but I have to take my medicine for my knee, so I get sleepy.
Are you going to take a little extra, maybe?
No.
Why not?
I don't need extra. My gosh. What do you want me to do? Go to the morgue?
It could be fun in times of quarantine.
Yeah, Mom and Dad start watching that Tiger King.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I can't even get through the first 5 minutes. When they drag that baby monkey. Did you see that at the beginning? They're dragging that baby monkey by his arm. I go, oh, my God, I'm done.
Yeah, that was some bullshit. All right, is Dad probably is sleeping on the couch already?
Well, he's laying on the couch, watching a movie and falling asleep.
Well, he's going to be mad that he missed this.
Why?
I have a comedian who you love on the line. I'm on with
Wait a
you.
minute. He's kind of awake. Hang on a minute. You want me to go over there?
You could do whatever you want, but I'm on the phone with you and Rosebud Baker right now.
Hi. Hi.
Baker, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you? I hated Tiger King too.
God, I want to put my fist right through that TV set. I swear to God.
I know he's such a lunatic. Also, I don't know. People love that show, and I'm like, you're all psychopaths.
Right. I'm into the first 5 minutes, and you're like, oh my God, I can't take this.
Okay, first of all, you two need to pause because Rosebud and I, we were just talking about how she's like a boss and she doesn't take no shit from nobody. And here you are saying you want to put some people's face through a wall. I feel like you two are connected on the same Detroit energy. I feel like Rosebud might be from Detroit.
She might be, or she's a.
You know what we need to do? We need to grab some bats. We need to walk through the neighborhood, and we need to let people know what's up.
That's right. I mean, I can't even imagine what's going to happen. I mean, I just started this movie, show, or whatever the hell it is.
Okay, Mom, I got to cut you off and I got to tell Rosebud that one time she chased a salesman off our porch with a baseball bat for real.
That's beautiful. That is the kind of mother you want in the world. Okay?
I asked 5 times, back off the porch. I don't want windows. Back off the porch. And he kept coming. I go, you better back off that porch. I
Oh my God.
When I called the police, the dispatcher happened to be a girl I worked with. She was a friend of mine. I go, oh, I got a good one for you. The cops were at the end of the street.
You have the mother that I've wanted my whole life. My mom is just a painter, and she's like, look at that color blue. My mom is the total opposite of your mother. I mean, I needed this energy in my life growing up.
Well, you know what? I do have a little class, a little bit.
I believe that. Listen, it takes class to grab a bat and defend your family.
That's right. My husband, Ron, just woke up. He goes, and here he is.
I guarantee he talks to you about George Bush. Get careful.
So pretty. Oh, my goodness. Every time I see you on there, I said, oh, my God, she's so pretty.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm
going to tell my fiance you said that.
Oh, he's funny. I'm following you. He's funny.
He is. He's very funny.
And
I know, he's such a nice guy. I'm going to destroy him. I'm going to ruin him.
You're making her so nervous, Rosebud. Like, I can hear in her voice that she's like, oh my God, I'm on the phone with the Rosebud Baker.
Excited. Oh my gosh.
That is so sweet.
Oh, you're just so funny, and it's just so nice to talk to you.
Oh, it's so nice to talk to you too. I love talking to a parental figure that likes my comedy.
I do. And what are you and my son up to? Because it can't be that good. I mean, it has to be totally bad stuff.
I mean, it's sad because we can't be together during this time, and I feel like we could really wreck some shit, you know? Yeah. But we're both quarantined in our homes.
Oh, I know it. Thank God I had knee replacement surgery because I'm on good drugs and I sleep a lot. So this is a good
Oh, so now's the time where she's going to be funny about it, Rosebud. Now's the time where she's going to be the comedian in the family.
Right.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I keep giving Joey hints and he keeps going, I'm the creative one. You're the mother. Back off, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You got to keep sending him tips. Send him jokes that you think he should do and tell him where he needs to cut the fat. You know?
Oh, don't worry. They do.
Yeah.
I don't even get the second line of the joke out. He's done. He's done with it.
Okay, Mom. Well, Rosebud and Mom, thank you so much for joining us today on the Social Studies Podcast. I don't know if this audio is going to fucking pick up. We'll see.
Okay.
But we'll see you next week.
Okay.
It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Pleasure. Bye.
Bye. Your dad chimes in. It was a pleasure. He's half asleep.